Welcome to Budget Beauty, where I help you look flawless for less. Welcome back, and a very special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen, and this is Budget Beauty. We do everything beauty on a budget, and that includes testing new eyeshadow palettes. I picked up the latest release from one of my favorite indie brands, Gourmande Girls, and that is the Silent Night palette. The color story of this, you guys, is exquisite. Let me go ahead and insert some close-ups of the packaging, which was created in collaboration with Doodles by the Bunny on Instagram. Super cute with the trees and then the gold writing of Silent Night. There is a mirror in the palette, and this is a 14-pan eyeshadow palette with a mix of gorgeous mattes, multi-chromes, duochromes, shimmery shades. I love the color story. Like I said, I love that there's neutrals, there's lots of browns in here, and then we have a few deep shades like a nice navy blue and a brown kind of purple and a black purple, as well as a nice deep brown. We also have a pop of sunflower, which I love, and the shimmers in this palette, holy smokes, they're absolutely stunning. This palette to me screams winter. Everything winter, even the holidays. I know the holidays have passed, but it definitely is a holiday inspired palette. And again, for me, it just screams winter. In fact, it's a palette you can use all year long. I love again that there's neutrals, there's blues, there's sunflower yellows and golds. I can't wait to create a look with you today. I will link the Silent Night palette down below. I do have a discount code for Gourmande Girls. I will put that in the description box as well. Also down in the description box, I'll put my favorite beauty subscription boxes, all of the other makeup that I'm wearing in today's video, if you would like to recreate this look, discounts to my favorite indie brands, and come follow me on TikTok for a little bit more beauty on a budget. Let me zoom you in and let's create a look with the new Gourmande Girls Silent Night palette. As always, the first thing I'm going to do is prime my eyes with my MAC Paint Pot in Painterly. I do use an eyeshadow base every time I do my eye makeup. I am 48, so I have a lot of fine lines and wrinkles on my lids, and the MAC Paint Pot, in my opinion, is the best eyeshadow base. It keeps your shadows in place, prevents them from creasing, and I love how great it works with those flaky shimmers that leave a lot of residue on your face. I do like to tap in my eye primer just to make sure that there's no creasing. The first shade I'm going to use is this gorgeous sunflower shade here called Mother. I'm going to pick that up on a nice fluffy brush, and I'm going to use that basically as a transition shade. I also want to point out how cute the pan embossing is in this palette. I'm going to put that in my crease, and as always, above my crease, I do have hooded eyes, so when my eyes are open, I still want this beautiful shade Mother to pop out. The shade is really, really beautiful. It's very pigmented, and it's blending out beautifully. If you saw my palette ranking of all of the palettes that I tried in 2023, you saw that my Gourmande Girls palettes ranked pretty high, and I've actually heard really good things about this palette. I could not wait to receive it. And then I'm going to pick up this shade here called All Is Calm, and this is a mid-tone brown, and I'm going to pick that up on a little bit denser fluffy brush, and I'm going to, again, just tap that in my crease, staying right in the crease, not going above, because we want to be able to see that beautiful yellow shade Mother. And I'm going to just, in a windshield wiper motion, just buff that into the crease. That's going to add some depth to the crease itself. That was one tap in, and look at all of that color payoff. That layered really nicely on top of Mother. Now going back into Mother with that fluffy brush, I'm picking up a little bit more shadow, and I'm just going to use that to blend those two shades together. So incredibly beautiful. I want to deepen up my outer corner, and I definitely want to use one of the blue shades. So we have a couple options. We have Silent Night, which is this deep dark blue matte, and then we have the shade Child, which is a little bit lighter matte. This one looks a little bit more blue, and this one looks a little bit more navy. I think I want to use Silent Night, the deeper, darker navy shade. I'm going to pick that up on a pretty dense brush, just tapping that in. I am going to tap my brush off as well because these deep dark shades typically can have some fallout, and I'm going to pop that on my outer corner, just deepening that up. Wow, this is so pretty. Look how beautiful that is. That is a deep, dark navy blue. It is just a true blue. It's absolutely incredible. It also is layering like a dream over 2 other mattes. And then picking up that fluffy brush we used for the yellow shade Mother, I'm no added shadow. I'm just going to kind of blend those edges. Wow, this layered so beautifully. And then as always, using my NYX glitter glue, I'm going to tap a little bit of this on my lid before we go in with our shimmers. Again, another product I always use. Now we have 2 blue shimmers. We have the shade Festive and we have the shade Starry. These are both so beautiful. Look at that. Very, very shifty multi-chromes. This shade right here, Starry, has a little bit of a purple base, and then the other shade has a little bit of a green base, but these are so beautiful. I think I'm going to pick up the shade Starry, and I'm going to focus that on the outer about half of my lid. Whoa. Holy payoff. Wow. That was one tap into Starry. One tap in. She is, this shade, oh my goodness, is honestly one of the most beautiful shimmer shades that I've used in a very long time. Holy smokes, is that pretty. I just wanna keep dipping into that shade. It's so shifty and beautiful. And then I'm going to pick up the gold shimmer called Bright, and I'm going to pick that up on a little bit more of a dense kind of flat brush, and I'm going to pop that on my inner corner. Wow, this shade too. These shimmers are incredible. Like seriously, these are so pretty. And I'm just kind of pulling that over to meet that pretty blue shade Starry. And then I'm going to pick up this shimmer here called Peace. It's kind of a taupey duochrome that shifts from taupe to gold to white. And I'm just going to pop that right in the middle. Oh, that's pretty. It definitely has a little bit of silver in there too, and that's just going to brighten up the middle part of my lid. For my inner corner highlight, I have to use this shifty pinky white shade called Frosty, and I'm just going to pop that on the inner corner right before I do my lower lash line. I love this. Oh my goodness, I love this shade. It has a shift from pink to white to blue to silver. This would also be beautiful all over the lid. I love that it has that blue shift because it just ties in so nicely with the blue mattes and shimmers. Speaking of blue mattes, I'm going to use the shade Child as my lower lash line shade, just packing a tiny bit of that on the end of my brush. I'm going to buff that on my lower lash line, staying really close to my actual lash line. Now you can definitely see the color difference between what's in my outer corner and lower lash line. Those are the 2 different blue mattes in the palette. I am so thankful that they're different applied to the eyes, because in the palette, I mean, they look different, but I mean, really they're not that different. That technically applied to the eyes, they could look similar, but they're beautiful. They're very, very different. My lower lash line is definitely more of a cobalt blue, and my outer corners, you know, that deep dark navy blue. And then I'm going to go back into the shade Bright, which is that gold shimmer, and I'm gonna buff that over the top on my lower lash line. That just kind of diffused the blue shade out and added that little pop of gold. This is so pretty. Let me go ahead and get liner and mascara on, get ready for the day, and I'll be back to share my thoughts on the Silent Night palette. So here's the final look using the new Gourmande Girl Silent Night palette. I love my look. Spoiler alert, I love my look. I love everything about it. I love the blues, the golds, the browns. I really like this palette. This is the really good, exceptional Gourmande Girls formula. Everything from the mattes to the shimmers, everything is perfection. The mattes layered beautifully. I had no patchiness, even with the deep, dark shade. Very opaque, very true to color in the pan. Again, I love that these blues are different on the eyes, even though they look similar in the pans. Just everything about this palette is perfection. There's lights, there's mid-tone, there's deep mattes. And we can't even talk about the shimmers. These shimmers are gorgeous. This shade Starry that's on my lid literally is one of the prettiest multi-chromes that I've ever used. And I love the pop of gold and then being able to add in this kind of taupey silver shade. They just did so well with the color story and the formulas of both the mattes and the shimmers in this palette. I love the packaging. It's nice, thin, sleek packaging, easy to store, which I appreciate. And I do love that there's a mirror for travel. I can't recommend this palette enough. I absolutely love it. I know that I'm going to be using this a lot. I can't wait to create more looks. I want to do a brown and yellow look. I want to do a blue monochromatic look. I want to do a brown look, just a neutral look. And then again, use that pretty shifty blue, taupe, silver, duo multi-chrome in here. I love that there's a white matte to blend things out and lighten things up. It's just perfection. Everything about this palette is perfection, and I'm so happy to have it in my collection. Again, I will have it linked down below with the discount code for you, as well as my favorite beauty subscription boxes, all of the other makeup that I'm wearing in today's video if you would like to recreate this look, discounts to my favorite indie brands, and of course, come follow me on TikTok for a little bit more beauty on a budget. Absolute perfection in the Gourmande Girls Silent Night palette.